Welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about my updated election prediction between President Joe Biden and Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who is currently running, of course, in that Republican primary to be his party's nominee. It's not looking like he or really anybody else besides Donald Trump will be the nominee. He is in third place currently overall, according to polls, behind, of course, Donald Trump in first place, and then in second place, Ron DeSantis. But Vivek Ramaswamy is on the rise in this nationwide primary. He started off really at 0.0%, and he has grown to almost 10% nationwide, which is so much for someone who was virtually unknown before his presidential run. I do think that he will eventually overtake DeSantis narrowly, but really the only chance that he or DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or Mike Pence or any other Republican candidate could possibly win this nomination is if Donald Trump is excluded from the ballot because of legal issues. I mean, that really is the only possibility that I see where Vivek could really take this over. So I have done one prediction between Ramaswamy and Biden a long time ago, right after Vivek announced, but this is my updated prediction because you do have to, stay fresh, stay updated. This is just my updated prediction where I think it stands between Vivek and Biden. And I know he will not be the nominee, but it's important to look at in case he does rise to a very serious major candidate. I mean, he already is, but, one that might have some sort of shot at winning the nomination, and, electability is a factor. So with that being said, let's get into this election prediction, starting with safe Biden states. That's California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Illinois, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine's first, and that's going to be it. Vivek's safe states. And by the way, safe states are states that will be decided by a 15% margin or more. That's Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's first, Nebraska's third, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia. And that will be it. Sorry, I forgot one more safe state for Joe Biden, that being the state of Colorado, one that has been trending to the left a lot lately. I think it will finally go safe on the presidential level. So Biden is off to a great lead at 191 electoral votes to Vivek Ramaswamy's 103, so that is a 88 vote difference currently. Just getting into this a little bit, I mean, Vivek is definitely more of an outsider, and that, of course, does do well in most presidential elections. And of course, that will help Vivek. However, sometimes your comments, you're so much of an outsider where you say all these crazy things, and that doesn't really help you. I mean, there were little tests, like positive versus negative tests that were taken during the Republican debate, and viewers did not like what Vivek had to say about the climate change agenda being a hoax, and it got a lot of boos, and that's among Republicans, who are obviously more anti-climate change action. But, so yeah, I mean, looking at a lot of these states that, could be safe, but they're not, and states that could be likely for Biden, but they're not, Vivek does really turn off a lot of more centrist independent voters. They might not vote for Biden. A lot of them would stay home. And that's really what's going to cost Vivek a lot of votes in this election. Just, crazy things he says, honestly. Now moving on to likely states. These states will be decided by a 5 to 15% margin, so a bit closer. we will start with Biden. Minnesota, I definitely think is likely. Very Democratic, but not quite safe. Same goes for New Mexico. Yeah, Virginia, definitely likely, if not safe. This is one where, they have a Republican governor, but they're very anti-Trump. And I don't know, even the Republicans here, they're more traditional, traditional conservatives. And Vivek is very out there with what he says. Definitely not traditional. Moving up to New Hampshire, a lot of what Vivek says about fentanyl drugs, he is very libertarian minded. That honestly would appeal to a lot of New Hampshire independents. But still, they're pretty liberal up here. I don't see, Trump made this close in 2016, and we have to remember, Trump might have said really racist, a lot of people would view what he said. It's very racist, few homophobic things. But we still have to remember, stuff that he said was pretty liberal. Some of his policies compared to other Republicans, take him versus Scott Walker, Trump is a lot more liberal, a lot more left-leaning. That goes for Trump versus Vivek too. Not maybe Trump now, but 2016 Trump versus 2023 Vivek. Trump is a lot more liberal. So still, we have to keep in mind that these are liberal voters. Maine at large. Maine at large definitely likely. Looking at the 2020 numbers. The blue wall is tough because these, again, white working class voters, not again, but whatever, white working class voters, of course, Trump won them in 2016, Biden won them back in 2020. So looking at 2024 in a Vivek versus Biden matchup, Vivek is now the big outsider, but will his comments turn off enough of those voters, and will they truly believe, like they truly believe that Trump would, work for him? So, and I think it would be effective enough, at least not make it likely for Biden in any of those states. Nebraska second, I think, goes to Biden by a likely margin. Went to him by 6.6 in 2020. Arizona is honestly on the verge of being likely, I'll just say it. And, I will give it to him likely. This is a state with lots of independents. Just over the 5% mark. Lots of centrist independents who are not super far right or super far left. Definitely a lot would be turned off by Vivek Ramaswamy and his very radical ideas. Again, Trump, people were scared of him because of what he said, but was he all that radical? Okay, maybe that was a dumb thing to say because he really was. But yeah, I think that Vivek is even more radical, and Biden will definitely paint that picture. Hillary did not even so much paint a picture of Trump being radical. She just thought, who could possibly vote for Donald Trump? But Biden, Biden is probably a bit smarter when it comes to campaigning than Hillary Clinton, and he will definitely paint this very negative picture of Vivek Ramaswamy in the general election. Now let's move on to likely states for Vivek. Ohio and Iowa are two states that could narrow up a few percentage points, but looking at the base that he would win, that would allow him to win these. It's the white working class voters who allowed Trump to flip these states in 2016. Vivek would absolutely turn them out, especially saying that Ohio is his home state. And Trump just made both these states so much more partisan Republican. Maine second definitely would vote for an outsider like Vivek, a conservative outsiders who Maine second likes to vote for. So no problem there for Vivek. South Carolina, definitely, very Republican state. And then, Montana and Kansas are two other states that are very, very Republican. So those aren't in question of flipping or anything. Yeah, I mean, Florida is very tough because it has become so much more Republican. And it could definitely be one that goes likely for Vivek, but right now, I won't do that. I think it would be safer to not put it as safe. But that's going to be it, I think, for likely states. That puts Biden at still a heavy lead, 237, and narrowed up just a bit. Vivek Ramaswamy at 146 electoral votes. Biden only, 43 votes away. Vivek, a lot of votes away. Just kidding. Biden actually expanded his lead. It did not narrow up at all. Anyway, let's move into lean states for Joe Biden. So one of them definitely being the state of Michigan. I think that this is one that Biden wins once again. He won it by 3% in 2020, and I think he wins it again. I mean, yes, we have the white working class voters, but I do not think that they would turn out in such high numbers as they for Vivek as they did for Trump in 2016. And I think that because a few reasons. But I don't think, honestly, that Vivek has that same type of personality that these voters loved, that exactly Trump did in 2016. I think he tries to be Trump too much, and he's not as likable, especially among that voter bloc. Plus, to be completely honest, he is Indian, and that would these voters would unknowingly be turned off by that. I really think, to be honest, when he's talking about these very conservative issues. So there's that, and then the same goes for Wisconsin, but I just did it second because I don't think it would. I think it would be slightly closer than Michigan. Michigan is like a 5-point win, almost likely. Wisconsin is like a 3-point win. And then Pennsylvania is lean Biden for different reasons. That puts him over the edge. Because of the suburbs, of course, the key, also important suburbs in Pennsylvania where, Vivek's comments about climate, about education, about all these issues that suburban moms are, in favor or against. Vivek is likely taking the opposite stance. So, yeah, Pennsylvania, I think, goes to Biden by a lean margin just because of the suburbs. Yeah, Nevada, this would honestly be kind of close, like a 2-point win for Biden here, because it is trending very much to the right. But, again, there's suburbs in Clark County of Nevada, too. Just so many voters would be turned off by Vivek Ramaswamy. Georgia, definitely. The Republicans who switched to Biden in 2020 because they were so tired of Trump being, so out there, they would not be voting for Vivek Ramaswamy. I can guarantee you that. So, they would be voting for Joe Biden or voting third party or leaving the ballot blank. So, no chance Vivek could win Georgia. That's a lean margin win for Joe Biden. And then North Carolina, honestly, for the same reasons. This one would be a bit closer, but still there are a lot of independents. A lot of more centrist Republicans, a lot of more traditional conservative Republicans who would not be voting for Vivek in the general election. Then we have 3 more states, all of which I think, or not all of which actually, I think that Alaska and Florida are both lean for Vivek. Florida, trending so much to the right. They don't really care how radical Vivek is, as long as he's a Republican and an outsider. And Alaska narrows up a lot, but honestly, there are so many independents in Alaska, many of which have voted Republican their whole life, and Vivek could be the first that they don't, because he's just so out there, and they're more centrist than Republicans in other states. And then we have Texas, which Okay, some of you might disagree with me here, but honestly, I don't think that Vivek does horrible in Texas. I think it narrows up a few points, maybe a 2 or 3 point win for Vivek here. But honestly, I don't think that Biden really comes all that close in Texas. I mean, um, I mean, these rural Republicans are the Republicans that would be voting for Vivek in the general election. He could definitely win this one, and yeah, I mean, I just don't see much changing. It's not like it's you know trending blue too much anymore. It used to be, but not really anymore. But whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's there. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. I think that Biden wins this matchup by a lot. I think it's 319 to 219. I mean, I guess it's not a landslide. Many are saying that this is the Biden versus Trump map. So Vivek doesn't do horrible. But again, thanks for watching. Yeah, hope to see you all next time. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. This ending was really bad. But yeah, here's the map. Alright, bye.